Today at the Gamers for Life podcast, we talk about episode 2 of the Halo Paramount Plus TV show. We're talking about PlayStation's Game Pass competitor, and E3 2022 is canceled. Coming up here at the Gamers for Life podcast. What is happening, everybody? Welcome to the Gamers for Life podcast. For each and every Saturday, we're discussing all things games. I'm one of your hosts, Jarrell. With me is my co-host, Arthur Thomas. What is happening, my guy?
Not much. Just finished some cleaning. Trying to be a little more productive. My day's off. I was telling you, trying to drink a lot more water. Because I'm trying. All I build. I'm a big dude, but the one at least healthy thing I could say is like. I don't know if you remember this. I think it happened when you first met me. I didn't drink soda for like 4 years.
That's great.
Trying to get back to that. I lost a lot of weight in college, walking everywhere, and I wasn't exactly dieting. I just didn't eat shit.
Bad things.
Yeah, like my diet was not eating pizza more than twice a month.
Yeah.
Or like not eating out more than, let's say, three times a month.
Yeah,
because that's the thing. Because that's the thing is like what we now know. Like just how bad that processed food is. Cutting that out, either completely or even significantly, is a big chunk of like, again, not healthy but healthier.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, man. Sometimes it's the little things that really goes a long way. So. Completely understand that, and kudos to you for that. I'm on I know this is a video game podcast, but I started Weight Watchers again, so trying to do that thing too. So it's terribly painful, but
I can't say Weight Watchers copy and paste, but like the soda thing, another thing to help me like lose weight years ago when I was actually trying to lose weight and before I get it all back, reading labels.
Yeah, like you gotta have to, especially for Weight Watchers.
Dude, like rule of thumb, if there's a drink made in this country that's not water, just this one drink that's 2 servings, 150% your daily sugar intake. This one 16-ounce drink, like everything, tea, juice, everything. Like I said, everything. Nakeds. Because the one thing I would argue when you do if you do like the fruit stuff is at least look at the included sugar thing, because fruit naturally has sugar. So it's like if you're drinking like a supposedly quote unquote all natural fruit drink that has like 90 grams of added sugars.
It's like these motherfuckers are trying to kill me.
Yeah. So little things here and there, like walking more, a lot more water, and like I said, just cutting things out here or there.
Yeah, that's good to know, man. Good stuff there. And those of you watching here at the YouTube land, hello. Be sure to like and subscribe on our channel. We would definitely appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell, so you can be notified in the episodes for when they release. About 80% of our viewers of the show end up not being subscribed. Go ahead and subscribe. You're watching it anyway. You don't get emails from us. You just get notifications if you click that bell on when one of your shows that you watch on YouTube is out. And here at the Gamers for Life podcast, we read the news while you can watch or listen to what you choose by clicking on the links at the time code within the description of the episode, so you can know the specific segments that you care to check out to skip through the show, or you can just hang out with us here at the Gamers for Life podcast. And of course, if you want to catch our audio episodes, if you want to catch what Arthur is doing as far as streaming and whatnot on the YouTube channel, or is anything Gamers for Life related, go to linktree.com/Gamers for Life. That's the one-stop link there. So be sure to do that if you'd like to. A very interesting week of news, Arthur. But of course, we are kind of watching the Halo TV show at the same time here. And episode 2 rolled around because it went live midnight. I caught a little bit earlier than the day. Let me start with you. What are your thoughts on episode 2?
Fucking skip it. Nothing happens. I mean, I like it. I like last episode.
Yeah.
Last episode made me hype for the next episode. This episode, here's the entire episode. He goes to a place, drops off a thing, goes back to base. That's the whole episode. I was going to tell you, I was going to say not one fucking bullet was fired the entire time. I'm technically wrong. There were bullets fired.
Yeah, there was some bullets fired. We don't want to. Are we spoiling? We should just spoil. Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah. Sorry. When we talk about the show, we spoil it.
Yeah, we spoil.
In that case, I forget when were bullets fired.
When Homeboy was executing all those folks, all those people.
Oh, okay. I did forget that. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, no. Okay, I did forget the war crime executions. Okay, I forgot that because I wasn't. If let me phrase this, there was no firefight.
Yeah.
The only firefight we had was in the intro in previously on the last episode where there was actual action. I'll argue that there was no action. It was a guy monologue. It was the new leader of. I was gonna make this joke last week on Planet Madrigal because it has the planet's same name as the family from Encanto.
Yeah.
Madrigal. Again, yeah, very. It's like. This one was very prequely, like Star Wars prequely, episode 1. Mm-hmm. Here's this galactic Senate and talking. For me, the most like quote unquote climactic, edgy moment was when Dr. Halsey lied and said, "Oh, the Admiral's been totally aware and super approving of my legal cloning this whole time." And she lied and dragged her into that. So that she fucking lied moment. Yeah. That was the most epic moment of the whole episode. I mean, for people that want lore and like I said, dialogue and stuff. How can I put this? I was looking more towards like a more action-based show than like Game of Thrones.
Well, I mean, I think from the very, I think even during pre-production, I feel like a lot of the signals were that they wanted to tell a story, right? Which I can always appreciate. And there's books of Halo, you know what I mean? There's books on the story. So, I mean, there's going to be dialogue. I'm not mad at that. I think the dialogue still needs to be cleaned up. There's a couple of really kind of screeching moments, especially at that table when Dr. Halsey was kind of describing Cortana. So there's the preview into Cortana, the introduction there. And then the general was like, well, we can't just remove Master Chief's mind. He's a human. I'm like, you guys just wanted to kill him last episode.
Yeah. There were so many parts where it's like they forgot what they said.
Yeah.
For example, Quan. For example, so Master Chief went to the outpost. Their equivalent of the Outer Rim thing. Mm. Like the cantina, like Halo's cantina thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going back. Quan says, wait, we can't go back. They want to kill me. 30 seconds later, wait, why are you leaving me here? You just said, you said 30, it's like, I'm not even joking. It's like her line of, wait, I can't go back there. They're going to kill me. Master Chief says, you're going to stay here. Wait, why am I staying here? We can't go back. They're going to kill me. Why am I staying here? And plus, I don't know. I was for fair biasness. I was watching this little buzzed. So like, again, my reactions were like maybe a little more extreme. But buzz or not, that was an exact line. That was the exact verbatim conversation, like nearly verbatim conversation. Okay, go back. Blah blah. Why am I staying?
Yeah, yeah, and I don't remember if he actually said that he's going back. I think he did.
No, no.
Right when he was
Yeah, no.
talking to his friend, right?
Yeah, when he was leaving, like when he
Yeah,
like they're like, "Where are you going?" Oh,
yeah.
I'm going back to. And remember, he was like, remember the guy, which by the way, I forget his name, but I'm glad to see him in more things. He's really
I
cool.
know he's a talented actor. I really like him. Just
But
look him
no,
up.
remember he was like, "I'm going back," and he was like, "Oh, you're going back to mommy? You're going back to mommy Halsey?" Like it was
Mm,
during that.
yeah.
It was during that conversation where Colin is like,
That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
"Yeah,
yeah. I think to your point too. Unfortunately, I feel like the writing still hasn't. It's funny because there's a couple notes that I had. One of them was, this is one of those episodes where like we're kind of learning things. It's not super like crazy fun action. But I feel like it hurts more because it's the Halo series and everyone's very judgmental on it, rightfully so. But I think the other notion too is that the writing, as I was saying, as far as like the writing can be better, it's not better yet.
yeah,
There's a
it's not right now, not
there's
right
a
now."
yeah, there's a lot of very like predictable plot points, like when they're at that planet, actually, let me start from the beginning of the
Yeah,
episode
yeah.
where his friend, is leaving. Terrible actor.
Oh,
Like not small, not young Halo guy. The his friend who's trying to leave. It's just a lot of his lines didn't hit. I'm like, you guys need to do like a couple
the
more takes.
the flashback.
Yeah, I was like, you guys need to do a
Yeah,
couple
that
more
was
takes.
it's it's like it's weird how at the same time they're expanding on the lore,
Mm.
but I'm upset or like I'm not entirely happy the way they're doing it.
Yeah, and then like and then like because the older version of like his friend is obviously a much better actor. So it's like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
super, much
he's
better.
cool as shit.
Yeah. But as far as just like there's a lot of predictable plot things that we've seen before. Like let's visit the weird guy in the cage that supposedly is really wise, and bringing the artifact to him. And then in that scene, he really doesn't give him any new information.
No.
Like if you watch, like when you watch it, and then he just finds out a little more when he grabs the thing, which he could have did that without even that weird guy. And then they don't really follow through on why he was so connected to Quan. I feel like because he was like, "Oh, Quan, come here," and then he just says a couple
Yeah.
things, but he doesn't like why are you so connected to Quan? Like say something that is at least slightly predicative or foresighting to like a future part of the season. But I don't feel like he said anything significant.
I feel like off recording I joked I was nervous they're doing the at least I feel in recent like
Mhm.
becoming a
Yeah.
potential trope of old brooding male hero and like young female psychic thing.
Mhm.
um I was nervous. I'm like, let's see how they do it. I feel like again a recent like example of that, The Witcher or Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I feel like this relationship is very forced. Like
Mm.
again, because like you're saying, it's like why do you care about why you care about Quan that much? You know what I mean? It's like they had a few dialogue thing. It's like you really track. It's only like a few dialogue things. Um, it's like I said, from like a Geralt and Ciri, Mandalorian whose name I forget, and
Yeah.
Grogu, Baby Yoda, to this one's, it's like what I mean. If it,
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I think what I agree with you on is that their chemistry isn't exactly hitting.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? I think I understand why he's connected to her just because I feel like from his past visions there's probably something vindicative of him making the decision like I don't want to like murder a child or whatever, but I still feel like their chemistry as groups like it doesn't work. Like I actually like Quam as a character. I think she's
Yeah,
very I think she's like compared to the standard, I shouldn't say straggler, but like your sidekick, like she's very like she's different. You know what I mean? Especially ethnically, which I like as well. And but it's just their chemistry is kind of off. I do like him and his friends' chemistry,
yeah.
but yeah, I feel like I want to see more from the Master Chief actor. As far as it's like, come on, like give me something. And you can't just be the straight faced tough guy like through the whole season. Like you just kept your helmet on.
So yeah, a couple things. First of all, I do
Yeah.
agree with you. I think Quan would be a better character as like a standalone character.
Hmm.
Like like a subplot of her maybe like trying to take back her planet, from fucking war crime guy.
Yeah.
Like again, like her, again, it feels weird. But, like, I think she just would do better as a standalone character versus like the sidekick thing.
Yeah.
And it's and another thing too. So again, if you're watching this and you're like hesitant about the Halo thing, the helmet thing, it's gonna be off, and get used to it. It's off. Like it's
yeah. It's a bicycle helmet at this point.
It's like I really don't remember it being on that much at all this episode. One thing I do remember is there's none of the first person gamer helmet vision this time.
Yeah.
But his helmet being off and us seeing his face, it's gonna be a thing. Like that's a thing. Also, secondly, his Under Armour thing. That's a thing too. You know what I mean? Like the the literal like Under Armour. I don't know. UNSC Spartans brought to you by Under Armour. So that's a thing.
Yeah.
Again for me, like I don't know. Again, I was buzzed. I was just craving action because, like I said, the thing I praised last episode was the CGI,
limbs coming off.
Like again, like oh man, those are stupid characters. Oh, and his face is gone. Awesome. To this of like again, this was literally just a delivery episode. That's also like getting the specifics of it. I don't know how does the cabling thing in that tram place work?
Oh, I don't know. It's pretty crazy.
Like, it kind of makes sense to me because I'm
intense.
because he goes to like the main hub of the train thing, and he presses a button and it goes to his house. How does like not everyone just go to his house? You know what I mean? Because it jumps and catches a cable, but there's other cables going sideways. So like, if you tell it to go there, does that rickety fucking shed looking thing jump differently to attach to a different cable? It was cool, but it's just one of the things
logically you're like
it's one of those things where you kind of need to shut off your brain a little bit to enjoy it. And I'm on the fence about stuff like that. I'm like it's like when it comes to magic shit, I'm like it's magic, shut off my brain, it's magic. But it's like a rickety tin, like look, it was literally like a rickety tin car. Like the space version of a fucking Pinto subway launches and catches a cable and goes into like a floating asteroid. That was cool. To say you live in a fucking asteroid, that's baller as fuck. But again, that was just one of my things that's just like, okay, I feel like I have to shut off my brain and not truly think about how that cable system works.
I was gonna ask you, I guess one of the last things that I guess it's kind of resonated with me in the show, what did you think about Master Chief going back to base? Because I know that some people were like, the fuck?
I didn't mind it. I mean, because kind of the opening flashback thing says that when shit hits the fan, he just goes back.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, let's leave. Or I can put my gun in your face. You know what I mean?
That's like the control notion as far as like he doesn't feel free, so to speak. He's still under the realms of following orders,
Yeah, even like the little things that I did, like kind of like the writing, that conversation when he's like, they clearly fucked up his body, but he's like, oh, the medical treatments, and the guy's like, you still call it treatments? Okay, what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like not on par. Like I'm trying to think of another like a medical example of them fucking with people.
Yeah,
and like I'm trying to think of like a non serious example that's not Tuskegee or something. But you know what I mean? Like they fuck with them. They went inside his mind and tweaked it, and it's like, oh, the treatments, and his friend's like, you still call it treatments?
Right.
You know what I mean? So like just kind of shows like he's
brainwashed in a
way. He hasn't been blue pilled.
Right.
But I would say once again, Halsey still my favorite fucking character.
Yeah.
And again, I can't, for me at least, I can't say the only like dramatic point in the episode was her lying in front of the whole committee thing of like, hey, my boss, so I've been doing this cloning thing that my boss has been super approved of the whole time. This will fix our problem. And the Admiral was like, you bitch.
Yeah. She's definitely written the best as far as character goes. So I feel like she's written the best. Or she just says the lines the best because she's the best actor.
It is interesting that Dr. Halsey in the Halo series is, for me, for right now, 2 for 2 carrying the show.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
You mentioned, him being like the main actor being like less stagnant and stuff like that, delivering his lines. Do you think it goes back to the one interview? Remember the one interview? That one interview we criticized where he's like, "I'm not here to play Master Chief. I'm here to." Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that it was the interview. Remember the interview where we're like, "Oh, now I'm really fucking nervous about how this guy's gonna play Master Chief," because like the interview or his response was along the lines of, "I'm not here. I'm not here to do impressions. I'm not here to." It almost is he almost said like, I'm not here to act like somebody else, but it's like, and we were like, you're a fucking actor, act like somebody else, like, you know what I mean? Like that one Austrian actor he's a really nice guy. He's a really, really nice guy in person, but he acts like a really shitty Nazi in Inglourious Bastards because he's an actor.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I was just remembering that interview during this episode.
Right. I think it's a little more. I mean, I understand what he's saying now when I think about it in retrospect, because it's like people want, sometimes people want a parrot routine where it's like, oh, like he has to be exactly like, so and so, the voice actor from the games, and he's like, dude, I just want to be an actor. I want to be an actor, and I want to involve myself in the character, but I need to see that more. I was like, if you want to be an actor, act.
Like I feel like I'm already more proud of Idris Elba's Knuckles than potentially this guy's Master Chief.
Oh well, Idris Elba, he's a phenomenal actor.
Exactly.
That's kind of it's kind of a chemical imbalance. I mean, if you're gonna compare Homeboy, but
you must say he's a phenomenal actor. Exactly. To me, exactly. Like I'm not, that's the same with like this guy. That's what I'm saying with this guy. It just reminded me of that interview and like the acting things. Like again, like again, it's not out yet, but again, seeing the trailers or hearing, Idris Elba fucking carry Knuckles. Again, even that one line is just so goddamn badass. Like Sonic does, his classic spin attack. It's like, what makes you think I need your power? I'm like, oh, like that one line. I feel like Idris Elba's potentially better Knuckles than potentially from what we've seen currently. The work, I want to say, like kind of like the work we've seen from Master Chief. It's almost like because of the helmet thing, how much we see his face. It's almost like it's not Master Chief, just like a Spartan. It's more like we're watching a story of a Spartan. Do you get that, or just me?
Well, I personally, in my opinion, I don't think it's fair to compare the two as far as Idris Elba one. I just feel like it's apples to oranges. But I think you do have a point as far as like what is differentiating Master Chief from the Spartans, right? So I feel like the actor, and maybe he's slowly getting into it. Like I see he did. I think he did some of his best acting with. It kills me that I can't remember this guy's name, but his friend.
I know.
But I think he did some of his best acting with him. I thought they had really good chemistry. But yeah, I really want to see. And it is episode 2, so I will give it a little more. I'll give it a little more slack, if you will. But yeah, I would like to see the writing get better. We've seen shows time and time again, have episodes within the series where you're like, okay, like this probably could have been taken out if this thing wasn't in it. And I feel like this is one of those episodes. I know The Mandalorian and Boba Fett had many of those type of episodes in their season, but yeah, so we'll see what happens. Were you looking up the guy's name?
Yeah.
Did you find him?
No, I'm on IMDb. I'm on IMDb now. I got because when you Google something, you get like all the 4 ads of like stream here, watch it here, stream here. And I'm like, not what I'm fucking looking for. Well, oh, there you go. Bokeem Woodbine.
Yes, Bokeem Woodbine. Yes, yeah, great actor. Definitely a staple in the culture, if you will. But yeah, he had some really good, they have some pretty good chemistry, and I feel like I got the best acting from the guy what's the guy's name that plays Halo again, or plays Master Chief? Excuse me.
Pablo something. Give me 1 second while I reload the purge. Sorry, it's Pablo Schreiber.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
EIB. Schreiber,
yeah. Okay. So yeah, I feel like for Pablo Schreiber, like I feel like that was some of his best acting with Bokeem Woodbine. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. I'll keep watching it. Hopefully we get a few more, better episodes.
Yeah. More. I mean, hey, Amblin was killing it. more fighting, please. It just was so awesome.
I know. It was very exciting. It definitely my stress builded up or lowered, if you will. And what I mean by that, Fortnite, and our next topic here, Fortnite temporarily removing building from its new season. We didn't get to talk about this last episode, but a huge freaking thing in the Fortnite, as far as just in the world of gaming, just because Fortnite is mainly known, or one of the most popular modes is in fact building, or people do in fact, building. And that's what Fortnite's known for. But it seems like, people are responding to this pretty well, which I find very interesting.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts, Arthur, as far as this kind of your consensus and what you've gathered.
I've only had my hands on Fortnite for a little bit, and I mean, for me at least, I've admitted, whether it's me getting old, my coordination, and plus I'm a controller, so
Yeah.
any Fortnite person that's a veteran can tell you building a controller is not the same as building on PC.
Yeah.
But the building thing was a big part of it, and it was a lot more difficult on controller. But the sea is so welcomed in its way by the apologies, by the larger Fortnite community is, to me, surprising.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know how much the majority of people potentially disliked it. And now it's like, which is, that was like the core mechanic of what handful of things separate these, for me, outside in, a lot, for me, these like similar battle royales to copy and paste for different battle royale. And Fortnite's, other than the Fortnite skin system, its building was its biggest noticeable mechanic.
Yeah.
And it removed its biggest, founding mechanic. And it's being praised. It's being praised. So
yeah,
that's interesting. I don't know. I might try it again. I don't know. But also just on a genre, I'm not the biggest battle royale guy. That's just me.
Same. I mean, besides, I do like PUBG, but I don't play it all day.
Yeah. Ivan and Caleb play a little PUBG and Apex. But yeah, I'm just, again, from the outside in, I'm shocked. I thought people were like, oh, the fuck you did. But I guess the common thing is like, oh, the sweaties, the people can't sweat no more and build like a 5-star hotel because they took a bullet.
Yeah, and that's kind of my thing too, right? It's like you have these epic award-winning Fortnite gamers like Booga, for instance, who won that $1 million Fortnite tournament, or $5 million, whatever it was. And he's like a fantastic builder and being able to multitask and snipe folks and whatnot, So say if you remove this mechanic, it almost forces players like Booga to rethink the game, you know what I mean, on a traditional basis, a traditional battle royale basis. So I think it is very interesting, in that perspective. We'll have to get Tommy Two Thumbs on the show again, just to kind of talk about his thoughts as well. In the future, definitely want him back. Shout out to Tommy Two Thumbs.
I wonder if they're gonna update the maps, because building was a thing. Fortnite's maps, other than like its few spots, were very open, very open. So in terms of cover, you just made your own. And here's the thing: I will say this: the few times I played Fortnite, I can definitely see why in the new, I can definitely see why a lot of people get into it easily. I would say easily, or at least compared to other games, because man, at least I don't know how many updates there were. I played it multiple seasons ago, but when I played it, it was oh my god, the bloom and recoil like practically didn't exist, like minus like for a shotgun or like a magnum or a sniper, but like, dude, I was like, like, you remember like us going from Gears of War and Outriders, to like, again, going from those two, then like I say, playing play Gears of War, where like you fire a handful of bullets, you're shooting the moon, unless you compensate on the controller or mouse. No, on Fortnite, again, I haven't played it for a while, but when I played it, I can absolutely see why the game was so popular on face value for me, because it was easier. Like shooting just was easier. Like you play Apex, they have more what you might call like standard gaming recoil. Modern Warfare is a little more lax from what I've seen, but then Fortnite's on the other end of the spectrum of the deal in terms of recoil. What's that? But again, or at least when I played it, I don't know how it's changed now, but I can absolutely see just in terms of numbers of like how, for example, kids, our joke is like little Timmy spent mom's credit card. And it's like, well, how's little Timmy playing this game? Oh, because early in the seasons, at least, recoil didn't. Recoil's not a fucking thing.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. That's a great point you make. So yeah, man, interesting stuff there. I guess we'll set to see further on in the future how people feel about that going forward. And speaking of feelings, I'm curious how you're feeling about this new PlayStation news as far as for the PlayStation Game Pass. They're just calling it PlayStation Plus. It's just reinvented, but I like this title here from IGN. It says here in quote, how PlayStation Plus compares to Xbox Game Pass and Nintendo Switch Online. So they actually do a breakdown here. Before we go into the breakdown, I do want to say, I think we did in fact call it as we usually do here at the Gamers for Life podcast. I was saying from the last episode, as far as for PlayStation Plus, on how they really need to do their due diligence on fixing these services, because you had PlayStation Now, you had PlayStation Plus that had some features, you had this movie service we were kind of hearing about and we weren't really sure what was going on with that. So there's a lot of confusion in the realm. And then I've been communicating for many episodes here in the show talking about they're really forgetting this nostalgia feature, which is a core identity to the PlayStation brand that they really need to, utilize, because, like I've said, Arthur, I don't have a reason to get a PlayStation, right? This is like, I'll just stick with Game Pass on my PC or just play games on my PC. So earlier this week, they gave the announcement of some details here on the PlayStation Plus, and this is supposed to be going live, this particular these packages, because there's different tiers, in June. So just to be detailed there, let me go ahead and read some of this stuff here. Let me read this paragraph, and then I'll go into the actual grid. So in IGN, so it says here in quote, the new PlayStation Plus rebrand is built into 3 tiers: Essential, Extra, and Premium. You still have access to the features previously seen in the original PlayStation Plus, such as multiplayer access, free monthly games, discounts, and cloud storage. With Essential, the extra tier adds onto it up to 400 PlayStation 4 and PS5 games from both first and third parties, with everything available to download. While Premium tier adds 340 more games on top of that, the PS3 games via cloud streaming, and a library of PS1, PS2, and PSP games, as well as some of the cloud streaming for PS2, PSP, and PS4 games, plus timed limited game trials. Essential is essentially just your PlayStation Plus subscription, but with more expensive tiers, add additional incentives, and both bring in technology of Sony's lesser used PS Now, and an inch closer to Game Pass likely library of offerings. And I'll just end there and quote. So yeah, one thing that I found interesting that I don't really have clarity on, as far as understanding, if you will. So they have price per month, right?
Yeah.
You have Essential, you have Extra, and you have Premium. So those are the 3 tiers for this new PlayStation Plus. It's going to launch here in June. So price per month, you got $10 for the Essential, $15 for Extra, $18 for Premium. And then it goes to price per year. And this is where I'm confused, because compared to Game Pass, it says NA, not applicable as far as for a price per year incentive. And then for the column of PlayStation Plus here, it's price per year. The Essential is $60, $100 for the Extra, $120 for the Premium. So part of me is thinking, are they giving 2 options on, if you just want to put in your credit card to pay per month, it'll take that much out, or and are they giving the price per year because you can buy a card for $60, a card for $100, or a card for $120? I'm wondering if that's the reason why they're adding a price per year compared to Game Pass. You know what I mean? As far as just like adding the math, you know what I mean?
In terms of pricing, if you do the math, in terms of pricing, their yearly thing is a fairly good price.
Yeah.
So remember, Xbox Live, because Xbox Live did this. I don't know if they still do this. I've had Game Pass Ultimate for a while, so Xbox Live being its own separate thing has been out of my mind for years.
Yeah.
Like even before Game Pass, I just did the monthly automated renewal through my Xbox. And yeah, so remember, it's like, hey, you can pay X per month for Xbox Live, or just pay a flat fee right now. And I'd like say, if you do the math, Game Pass Ultimate, on a yearly basis, face value is 180. That's 15, 12. I had to do my calculator just to make sure. And so if you do, so if you do their 18-1, so if you do their 18-1, it comes out to 216 for the year. So you pretty much, so it's arguably roughly like a 50% savings if you just front up the 120. So I think on face value, people might say, oh, Game Pass is cheaper, it's $15.99 versus $17.99. But the fact that they're offering a yearly flat, like one-time thing for, again, half the, in total, half what you would spend year-round for the monthly, that's a pretty significant discount.
I see where I definitely see where you're going with that, which makes sense. Because part of me is thinking, Arthur, is that I don't know, because there's folks like you and I, which doing the math, it makes sense just to buy it outright, right? Because you're saving that money. I don't know.
You don't think that your yearly front fee will be that successful?
Exactly. I don't think people are going to go for it.
I think the same.
Yeah.
I think this may be that, not apples to apples, but I think this may be the same thing of, like, was it Carl's Jr.'s third pound burger and people buying their quarter pounder because they thought the quarter pounder was more because they don't know that, no fractions. I'm not saying it's apples to apples, but I you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, whoa, 120 is a lot. I'm not gonna do the yearly thing. I'll do the $18, for the premium. Well, right. 120 is a lot. Fair, I get it. I'll do the $18 a month. But not doing the whole. I'll after a 12-month calendar. To roughly double. Roughly under give or take tax, 220. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, exactly. I agree.
Or $100 more, I should say.
Yeah, because technically, if you wanted to do, say, like the annual, and if you wanted to just kind of pretty much have just continue with what you have without any additional jargon and just kind of what you've had before, you just do the essential. You pay the $60. It's pretty much the same thing as what everyone else has done. From PlayStation Plus now, you know what I mean? Not PlayStation Now, but just PlayStation, Plus. If you were to buy it today, just pay the $59. But I think technically it's $50 right now. So I think technically they're getting a $10 boost after June 1st when they make the switch, because they say Essential is essentially PlayStation Plus. You know what I mean? But I think PlayStation Plus right now is $50. It's not 60. Because I know, talking to Preston, our PlayStation guru, he was saying that it's kind of expensive, and he was probably doing the math with us as far as $17.99 times 12 months. But
here you go. So I'm all because one thing, because we're looking at the same breakdown.
Yeah.
Is I'm looking for the detailed one that you posted on Instagram that actually breaks down like which tier gets the retro games. And it's
premium, isn't it? I thought it was premium.
Yeah, only premium.
Yeah,
only premium. I wasn't sure if like you get a handful with the second tier. What is it called? Extra. Yeah. I wasn't sure if you get a handful with extra. No, it's just no. If you no, so arguably the newest biggest perk that truly wasn't present in any of their 2 to 3 streaming services are the new retro games. But remember, so that new biggest, arguably marketable perk is only in their premium tier. The one that's the $18 a month or $17.99, or the 120 for the year, which
it's kind of crazy, right?
Which when you think about that again, and knowing what Game Pass has, that's the interesting thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly, because it's kind of like we're paying for premium, like the premium version on Xbox right now. You know what I mean? Because we already have access to all these classic
Like
games.
because people forget there are still, as this stretches, people forget there are still multiple tiers of Game Pass. There is
Yeah,
Game Pass,
yeah,
there is Game Pass PC, and there's Game Pass Ultimate.
yeah.
And for $14.99, you get everything.
You get
You get
everything.
Xbox Live, you get the PC, you get the PC ports that come available to Xbox, and vice versa.
Yeah,
And so again, so knowing that the premium version that has this major value beyond, its software, it's now hardware capabilities via the cloud and stuff we mentioned that is on this list. IGN, this I like I tagged you in a thing. I was like, man, thanks IGN for making a nice
yeah,
comparable list. It's super helpful.
yeah.
um,
Absolutely. Shout out to
so
IGN.
again, it is interesting that I think you're absolutely right. I think even though the 120 yearlies is a savings that on face value, I think most consumers will go for the 18.99 or 17.99 a month, but then still, have that price point compared to Game Pass. The value for the price it's not there yet. I know
Exactly.
it's new, and there's another thing. Remember, that was another big topic that's not on this list. First party day ones. Remember, PlayStation. There's no first party day one titles coming to this service yet, and that's one of the consistently biggest marketable things with Xbox. Both
Yeah,
for indie,
they have had first party day ones. That's a great point.
both indie, AAA, and first parties.
Yeah.
First parties being Halo, Forza, Sea of Thieves, Gears, other AAA games via the EA Play. Like we got Rainbow Six Extraction from that Ubisoft, not merger but partnership.
Yeah.
And of course all the indie games I just got announced at the recent conference. Idea Xbox showcase we talked about. So again, that was a big thing that right now, even at the premium tier, $17.99 per month, the 120 for a year, you do not get day one / first party titles right now.
That's true. That's true. And one thing that kind of grinds my gears, and we talked about it a little bit, but I kind of wanted to extrapolate the point,
Yeah.
is, we talked about Game Pass as far as, these classic games, how they're available to you, for $14.99. And that is the, if we were to compare the premium, $14.99 is the premium version because that's the ultimate. But it kind of, as a Sony customer, I can see people being angry because it's like, yo, on PS3, I had access to PlayStation 2 titles. On PS4,
Yeah.
I had access to PS3 titles, and now with PS5, I have to pay extra money to play stuff that I had in my possession tens of years ago. So like I could see people being kind of pissed off about that, and then your point with the first party day ones is a significant point. And then also to me, the biggest thing is, well, there's a sub. The sub is the preservation on these classic games on PS2, PSP. Are we going to get any type of a HD res thing? Is that possible to do? And Microsoft has been really good with preservation of their Xbox games under their IP. They do a little HD texture pack or whatever to make it a little bit sharper, which I think is great. Is Sony going to do that with their titles? Because I know there's a lot of different weird licensing issues that happen with a lot of these classic games that we love. So I don't even know if they have the capability or the source codes, if you will, to do that. So that's the thing. And then there's something else. Oh yeah, and then it's Sony, it's PlayStation. They're not nearly as good as with software as Microsoft. Just from the internet connectivity issues, even when it comes to the upgrades on these add-on packs, where Microsoft has been very diligent as far as like, oh yeah, if you upgrade, it's free. Yep. Sony's been one step forward, two steps back, or bait and switch as far as, oh no, it's $10. You know what I mean? So they say that when this June 1st thing hits, if you have Essential, or if you have the regular, PlayStation Plus or whatever, it should just convert to Essential, right? And it should be just the same stuff. Hopefully they keep their promise on that, because I would be really pissed if I had PlayStation Plus, you know, and then June rolls around, they change it into PlayStation Essential, and then a bunch of shit messes up. My cloud saves are gone and all this shit, right? Like
that's a weird thing too. Is like I didn't know. So on Sony, a cloud save is like a paid thing. Because that's been the cloud save thing has been implemented at Xbox for years.
And let me ask you, is that something where you have to have Xbox Live for the cloud save, like say back in the day? Because if so, then it's kind of the same as Plus. Obviously, the cloud save for Live is a little better, but
potentially. But again, I put this way. I've had this cloud feature for years.
Yeah.
So whether it had it with Live without Live, I can't confirm.
Okay.
But again, another thing too is like UI, like you said, like even just pricing, the UI or like just the hands-on upgrading of shit is fucking easy in the Xbox. It's like click, you have this, install. You know what I mean? Versus like Sony, you have to like do account shit because remember there was a controversy with Horizon Forbidden West. Remember, it was technically cheaper to buy the PS4 version than upgrade the PS5 than buy the PS5 version outright because remember Sony said the upgrade version was going to be free. Then they backtracked. So how did they fix it? They fixed it by making the PS4 version cheaper.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? So like to do that, you know, like log into a PS4, buy it there, then log into your PS5 and download it there.
Yeah.
When again with whereas like the X, you know, with the Xbox, I still, you know, I of course I'm on my Series X, not that. That's the fridge. That what's behind me is the fridge. And I have my, you know, my Xbox One in the living room for stuff like that. And you know, I wouldn't have to go console to console.
Yeah, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So again, so the UI, the user interface, and just the hands-on access of then how they're handling this shit is fucking weird.
Very.
You know, that was something we mentioned even like, you know, back with the Xbox One versus PS4. You know, people, you know, that was the weirdest thing is like, why is it PS4, even to me as an outside looking in, why is it PS4 isn't, to me, why is it PS4's, you know, interface weird? Like it for me, it's not simplistic or efficient to me outside looking in, and that's a separate thing. But
yeah,
but again with this upgrade stuff, but the upgrade stuff, how Xbox is handling it compared to Sony, it's night and day.
I would say that PS4's interface is much more efficient than the PS5 interface. PS5 interface is kind of confusing. Like because remember some people they didn't know if they were playing a PS4 or a PS5 game. Like that's ridiculous.
I don't know if it's like a bunch of yes men over there or yes people, you know, but it's like, hey, is this a good idea? Yeah. But so I'm worried. So what's day one for this? June.
It's in June.
Okay.
I don't think it's June 1st, but it's June. Yeah.
I'm expecting server fucking issues day one. That's just me. Sony, I'm just sorry. Sony's just notorious for server shit. Now, yes, I know Xbox isn't perfect, but again, like server errors with Xbox compared to Sony, it's again night and day. And again, I go back to that's potentially years of us paying for it to have that, you know, that almost like, you know, that paid for baseline of like quality servers versus Sony, you know, even going back to the party system, how Sony just couldn't figure out how to make a fucking party compared to Xbox Live back in the day. So, but again, so June, I'm definitely predicting this. I'm predicting the transition with the services not going smoothly.
Yeah,
I will say, you know, and now apples to apples. From what I did when Game Pass Ultimate first rolled out, I didn't get it day one, but I got it like within the first month. It was like, okay, once I actually read it, I'm like, oh, this is fucking worth it. Seamless. It's just like you buy this and the Xbox tells you, hey, you are now upgrading your previous subscription. Your previous subscription for Game Pass will be quote unquote removed, but upgrade to this, services will not change. That was it.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like it was seamless. I just bought it. My credit card. I forget. I don't know if it was like I may have had to restart the Xbox. Don't quote me. but again, a restart at most. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, man. And then speaking of Xbox, you were talking about to me off air about an important point as far as they're looking into, or they're not looking into, they will have a family plan for Game Pass. So up to 5 accounts can be connected to a primary account for Xbox Ultimate or for Game Pass Ultimate. Which is pretty sweet, but they haven't said the specific pricing around it, what the pricing will be for that family plan. But in general, that's cool, and because I remember they were doing the family.
Fucking great.
Yeah, I remember they did the family plan for Xbox Live back in the day, and I remember that was a big thing. I think it was like $100 for a while. Yeah.
I feel like again, because they're early days of paid Xbox Live, I can't say a paid thing was ahead of its time, but I just did feel like I'm paying for better servers. I just did.
Yeah.
But again, I absolutely understood that that was a huge transition in gaming for console gaming. That was a big fucking deal. That was where PC, like for example, PC, during the console wars, PC users on the side of like, oh, you have to pay to play online on top of internet. Oh, well, that's why we're the master race. Keyboard, mouse. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but again, now that this paid online gaming thing is a norm, I think we will see. I think we're definitely going to see more of a success with the family plan. With the family plan, I don't think it'll be like groundbreaking. Like I don't think it'll be groundbreaking like Game Pass Ultimate was.
Yeah.
But I think Xbox is going to definitely see success with it.
Yeah, I think their pricing is what they really have to be careful with. Because wasn't there was a really weird thing that happened, Arthur? I'm trying to remember. Remember there was one summer where there was some type of weird pricing issue. And they reversed it, and we're like,
yeah,
what?
They remember they were going to increase the price of Game Pass like significantly, but without adding any extra features.
Yeah.
And Phil Spencer immediately came out and said, "Our bad. We're not doing that. Yeah. We're not doing that. Nope."
Exactly. So to that point, they have to be really careful pricing this family plan. So in general, if it's up to 5 people, connected to a Game Pass account, $14.99 times 5 is $74.95, so back to $75, right? So it needs to swoon around those numbers. So in general, say if it was $60, that's insane. Like, I mean, I feel like they would lose money, but it needs to be.
We felt that way with Game Pass.
That's true.
We felt that way with Game Pass. True. Like, how are they fucking making money? Oh, because like 20 million people. Like $15 isn't a lot. Okay, 15 million times 20 million. $15 times 20 million. Okay, right.
It's adding up. So,
question with the timing of. Because remember that was so the family plan was like a leak of when they'll be announcing it. That was like an insider thing of when Xbox will discuss this. Question: do you think the Xbox family plan will be more successful now because the backlash we're seeing from Netflix punishing people for sharing passwords?
Absolutely. I think this will be like, this is how you're supposed to do it, because I hate to be so graphic, but I feel like they're being money grubbing whores right now on Netflix. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, that was PG. That was like PG-13. I've had some horror shit. Come on, my fucking mouth.
I know. But yeah, I mean, especially in my personal opinion, I just feel like Netflix tends to have less shows available to me that I actually care about, and then they have the right to up the price. I'm like, guys, what are you doing? And then also to bitch about people on multiple accounts. I'm like, you guys are lucky that people are actually using the service after Disney Plus. But
yeah, I was people are making jokes of like, hey, you remember when Zoom just took over like Skype's 20-year lead? Disney Plus looks like Disney Plus is about to pass Netflix real quick.
Yeah.
And for me, like I mentioned multiple times, especially with fucking Netflix. I'm not a show guy. I'm a movie guy because what's Netflix known for? Wow, that's a really good fucking show, and it's canceled.
Yeah.
So I'm a movie guy, and they're not adding fucking movies. And, it's like and here's the thing: people were saying of like one potential reason why the price is going up because they paid like five. You know that one movie with The Rock and Gal Gadot and Ryan Reynolds. I didn't see it. Red Notice or something. That's a $500 million movie. They paid $500 million for that. I'm like, did you get nominated for at least one Oscar? No. Like, yeah, I'm not saying
I know they paid a lot for Knives Out as well. They paid a lot of money for that one too, for the sequel.
Sequel, yes. No, okay. Look, I'm not saying every movie needs to be a fucking Oscar, but when you spend $500 million fucking dollars, I mean, Cannes, something, crazy. You know, fucking a Twitter award. I don't fucking know.
Because I know it was like the most watched film on Netflix, but still, it's like that's insane.
Probably watch film Netflix because what other fucking new films they got?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, hey, we have our first new original movie in like 6 months. Oh wow, it's the topmost thing. Yeah. That's because it's just nothing fucking new. So and you know, in fact, if really funny, I canceled it and they listed why, and I'm like, so I was like, no new movies are coming. Like, I was like, no new movies are coming out. You only have like 2 a year now. It's like, yeah, I mean, they're all about Netflix original fucking shows.
Yeah, Netflix originals that aren't original.
Yeah, it's like you can't call it Netflix original just because you picked it up,
right?
Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So moving on here to the last topic here of the show, which is very surprising, and it actually dropped in our laps today.
Shocking.
Very shocking. We're recording on a Thursday here, but we're gonna get into this. So as I'm scrolling through the Instagram, I get this lovely. Actually, it was IGN as well. A post saying E3 2022 is canceled physically and digital, and I was like, what? So
like, go on, just
yeah. So and then there's even a tweet from I don't know who this guy is, but I think who's this guy? Oh, he's so let me just read this. So according to The Verge, it says here, there will be no E3 this year. In a tweet, Will Powers, PR for gaming peripheral manufacturer Razer, said that he received an email stating the digital event was canceled. IGN initially reported the news, saying that they also independently reviewed the email confirming E3's cancellation. And he tweeted, just got an email. It's official. E3 Digital is officially canceled for 2022. A lot of mixed feelings about this. Continuing on, says the video game trade show was marketed. Event was originally scheduled to be held in person this year. However, in January, E3 once again was shifted from an in-person to an online-only exhibition due to the pandemic. Now it seems that the digital event has been completely canceled. So there have been growing concerns about the fate of E3 for the last few years. COVID-19 pandemic continues to impact in-person gatherings, making the prospect of very large and famously packed events unattractive. Last week, a number of video game professionals reported testing positive for COVID-19 after attending the Game Developer Conference in San Francisco. In addition, pandemic concerns, video game publishers have increasingly withdrawn from E3 in favor of hosting their own online events like Nintendo Direct, EA Play Live, and Sony State of Play. And then Jeff Keighley was excited about the Summer Game Fest, which I don't care for. But
I'm mixed. It's like a spotlight on small to medium-sized games.
That's true. But my question to you, Arthur, and I know you had questions as well, so we're just gonna bounce back and forth on these questions. But the first thing is, are they using this pandemic shit as an excuse? Is it the real reason that there's a lot of games that are just not fucking ready and they don't really have anything to present where shareholders are like, where shareholders are satisfied? Because I asked that because this is like maybe 4 E3s ago, right? And I actually went to this one. And I would say to honest to God, 70% of the kiosks at the E3 floor were games that already came out. Like it was really weird. I was like, where are all the new games? Like they're all like, it was the same year I think that Hyrule Warriors came out for Wii U. there was a bunch of kiosks of games that already came out. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening?
I'll say
So
you're losing track of time. It was Hyrule Warriors. It's more than 4 years, my guy.
yeah, there's many. Yeah, so yeah, up teen E3s ago.
No, I got you. I'm like
But
blanking out in the past year
but
too.
but but imagine this trickle down, right? Imagine this trickle down
It,
even before the pandemic. We have the pandemic, obviously for pandemic reasons. We can't have an E3. We have a digital E3. We have these other conferences, right? But now to say that even the digital one is canceled, and we're going to make the excuse of the COVID-19 pandemic, they're going to say COVID is the excuse again. I don't believe it. Like, I believe in COVID as being real, but I don't think that's the reason why they canceled this. I think they canceled because there's really no games that are really being pumped or worked on.
I think in terms of like new, like I said, I feel like this E3 would have been a big like follow up to, and it sounds weird, but like a follow up to last E3. What I mean by that is like updates, like for example, like God of War Ragnarok gameplay, versus like the teaser of the logo. Like for me, Avowed gameplay, State of Decay 3 gameplay versus potentially groundbreaking new things. So I feel like again, like not really, like you said, not really COVID. It's just more like I feel like maybe in a good way. Maybe AAA companies are finally getting fucking annoyed. Maybe AAA companies are finally fucking realizing you can't release non-finished games, or potentially show one thing E3 and release something else. You know what I mean?
I'm also thinking too that maybe just E3, the concept of it is very outdated. You know what I mean? Because even during COVID, we had the Xbox conference, right? We had a Nintendo Direct, and they were very good. And we had games that we knew that were coming out and all that. And I know for E3, it's very expensive for these companies to do an E3. And
LA Convention Center is not cheap.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, no, you're right. It's very expensive. So part of me also, the other side of my brain is saying, well, maybe they're canceling this because they're like, it would be a lot cheaper, make a lot more sense if we just did another Xbox conference, another Nintendo Direct,
right.
And then maybe PlayStation will step in too.
Because one thing too, I think you're right about is remember with E3, and we talked about this too. We talked about it too in the past with the one particular company or two particular companies. Because remember, E3 is not just the big three game manufacturers: Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox. What else is E3? E3 also puts a lot of stress and a spotlight on publishers and developers that potentially don't have a lot to show. Case in point, remember 2K? You remember our Gearbox? Remember Gearbox E3? Fucking Randy Pitchford just going to people on set, say something, say Kevin Hart, make a joke.
Terrible.
You remember that? So I remember we were talking about other companies like Square, like because remember Square Enix has a showcase. Ubisoft maybe
Take-Two was a Zoom meeting.
Take Two was like, let's just pat ourselves on the back because we're doing. We're doing HR shit. Exactly. Yeah. So that's what was so for me, I feel like maybe even though Nintendo, Xbox, and Sony, the big three, consoles, they have enough content for like potentially E3 this year. I would argue the majority of the other individual developers and their publishers don't. Like, look at Square Enix. Square Enix pumped out like 4 games in the past, like what feels like 6 months.
Yeah.
From their from their money grubbing mobile chocobo racing game they got shit on, from that one game Babylon's from Babylon's Fall.
Yeah.
Now they have the Final Fantasy Origins thing. You know what I mean? So like, so again, so look at Square Enix. Square Enix just put out a bunch of games. So if they were to do it at E3, what would their conference look like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Again, Ubisoft maybe, but where I feel like that's my thing. I feel like the big three could have put together something, Nintendo, Microsoft, something, but all the other showcases, Capcom, Bandai Namco, I would argue potentially none of these other companies could have handled a full E3 independent solo showcase. Like, because again, last year, other than the big E3, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Last year's E3, other than the big three, was a lot of a fucking Zoom meeting.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, there was barely any content at all to really provide to gamers that, for content that, people cared about on the masses.
Now that I say that, the more I think about it, I think the more I agree with you that E3 is getting more outdated.
Yeah.
I'm still sad it's not officially happening.
Me too, because that's what we.
Because if
this
this trend,
fun.
because if this trends and I can't put on my bucket list that I went to E3, I'll be fucking mad.
Oh no, yeah.
So if this becomes a trend, but again, whether it's COVID or timing, like I said, the more I think about it, E3 is becoming a little outdated. And I gotta say, like, like I don't know about other people, but like I really only look forward to the main three, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, because I feel like I just feel like the other independent publisher developer showcases are like, why are they like an hour and a half? Just have them like half an hour. You know what I mean? Like even Gearbox, Gearbox had no fucking business having a fucking showcase.
That was crazy.
It was just Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and here let's hey, we're on set, shove a microphone in people's face. And even then it can barely fill the 45 minutes.
Right. Exactly.
They should have never had that. But again, maybe because it was thrusted upon them, maybe they're probably probably Randy Pitchford or Gearbox, they're probably one of the people applauding this new update that E3 is not happening.
Maybe, yeah. I mean that's a very possible thing as well. So, yeah, man, it's just it's interesting because it's funny. I was thinking too. I feel like there's a lot of there's like Gamescom, right, where it's very more internal based. Where you have a lot of the developers and journalists. They go to that, and it's not like a public thing, and they're not putting on a show in a sense. They're essentially, it's kind of like the old school E3 in a sense, where it's like, hey, this shit's coming out, this is coming out, this is coming out,
And I would say, remember too, arguably the biggest like hands-on gameplay, like active kiosks, PAX.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the biggest thing with thing with PAX. Yes, PAX has trailers. Yes, PAX has announcements. Of course it does. But attendees know the biggest thing about PAX is getting hands-on games that were shown at E3.
So maybe maybe PAX will be your new bucket list. Then
hey, I can go to Seattle. Go to the Emerald City.
Yeah. Fun time, definitely. So that's kind of wraps up the topics here of the show. Anything else, Arthur, that you wanted to put the icing on the cake essentially before we close out?
No, like I said, the more I think about it, I kind of understand. I'm not happy with, but I understand this E3 decision, as big as it fucking is.
Yeah.
Question about it before we end.
Yeah.
How do you think this will affect? I don't. Okay, let me hear what you think. How do you think this will affect shareholders? Remember, E3 at its core started as a shareholder conference to as a stock shareholder conference. How do you think their opinions are on stuff like this with E3?
I think they're pissed, to be honest. I mean, I don't think they're pissed that it's canceled. I think they're pissed in the lack of, this is just me guessing, obviously, but pissed in the lack of progression on the development of some of these games. And I think part of me thinks too, I wonder if this whole Activision Blizzard thing had anything to do with it. I know that's a big chunk of some of the games, right?
Because they could have potentially been booed every time they walked on stage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Bobby Kotick, if he's speaking to anyone,
if he opened his fucking mouth, just boo.
Yeah, you would see tomatoes.
Yeah.
Controllers.
So, you're right. Maybe that's not. Yeah, maybe it's another. Yeah, that is a thing too.
Yeah.
And I'd say it's interesting because in the sub news and just a sub news mentioned shareholders, Amaranth, Amaranth, one of the known major, not essentially gamers but figures. I say that loosely. Figures on Twitch. the headline, I think you saw the same one. I think you saw the same headline from Gaming Bible was bought an eye-watering amount of stock in Activision Blizzard. So again, the timing of that is, oh hey, stock in Activision Blizzard, E3 is canceled. Ooh, fuck. Maybe we'll have to wait and see. Maybe again, maybe in the wake of this, maybe we will see like a collective dip in major AAA stock. Following in the 24 hours, because this is recent as the time of recording this, in the 24 hours to follow the follow-up from this announcement E3, like how their stock was affected. Maybe that might speak on behalf of the shareholders. People are selling or something. But terms of like other gaming news, stuff like that, not that I really think of.
I think the last thing I wanted to say, and I got back to my brain.
Yeah.
This is the time, I swear to God, if Jim Ryan and if Sony and if PlayStation, if they do not do a separate PlayStation, not a bullshit state of play, like if they're going to do a state of play, it needs to be a legitimate overhaul and similar to an Xbox conference. If they did one this year, it would be significant, and they need it to be significant. I feel like this really needs to be their fucking playbook, especially with this game, the PlayStation Plus, reimagined, right, or re-engineered rather. So you have those new tiers. I personally would like to see a slim PlayStation 5. I know we're 2 years in, but god damn it, I think it would be really cool as far as to push out more systems, saying, hey, we have a redesigned PlayStation 5, and you have this new service. And then if you buy the console, you get 30 days or 60 days or whatever of the premium. Like, I just feel like it just makes a lot of sense for them to kind of rebrand themselves, because they've been out of E3 for many years now,
Yeah.
And whether it being financial or even logical, I think as a Sony fan, a lot of people have been disappointed just the fact that they're not there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of like, it's like that dad or that mom that doesn't show up to your kid's violin show.
Exactly. It's like that meme of even just showing up helps so much.
Yeah.
Do you think so? On another kind of link to this, you mentioned consoles and stuff and the Slim. So there was one article saying, at least for the Xbox, the Xbox shortage is potentially over, because Microsoft and Target have been consistently stocked for the past like 2 months. So they were saying the Xbox shortage is potentially over.
Yeah.
So, but kind of back to your Sony thing. Do you think now we might see, now that the shortage is potentially over, do you think now we might start seeing, like we've seen with side note, during the Xbox shortage, they announced a lot of fucking giveaways for exclusive Xboxes. Do you remember that?
I think so.
You remember for like every game that came out, there was like an exclusive Back for Blood, a Forza, like a Halo one.
Oh yeah.
A Psychonauts one. A State of Decay one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel there was, during the shortage when no one could find an Xbox anywhere, like the Xbox social media team was announcing giveaways like for every fucking Xbox game release.
Yeah.
And I was like, where are your Xbox? Where is there a shortage or not? How's there a shortage while you're giving away like a new custom Xbox every fucking month?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but
yeah, I feel like that's kind of like the capitalism thing, where it's just like the general Joe Schmo doesn't have a PS5, but all my favorite celebrities have them.
Fucking influencer shit. So that was my side rant, because that was the thing, is like you remember for every fucking game there was like a giveaway of like a Back for Blood this. I'm like, are we selling Xboxes or not? Okay, but here's my question. Now that the shortage is over ? Now, do you think we're gonna start getting these collector's editions, or like for example, a God of War PS5? You know what I mean?
That's a good question.
Or just the 5 colors of their panels they fucking gave us.
Or a God of War panel.
Hey, let's sue the fuck of Etsy on these talented makers that are making all these crazy graphic designs. After we showed them how to, they shot themselves in the foot and showed everyone how to essentially make these fucking panels.
Dude, yeah, exactly.
And then they just pretty much they're doing cease and desist left and right. But again, do you think now as shortage asterisk over, will we now start seeing these classic, like again, like the limited edition game combo consoles again?
It's a great question. I think we should see one, especially for God of War Ragnarok, because that's such a big first party IP for Sony. I would love to see, even if it's like a really fucking dope shell, and you get an all new controller, like they do a whole redesign, like God of War controller. That would be fucking dope. It should happen. I don't know if it necessarily will happen, but I think if they do one, it needs to be for Ragnarok. I'm worried. If it worries me because, and if they do that, that should be included in their conference as well.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know why my brain just now the neurons are firing off. Speaking of limited edition and stuff, did you see the Sonic and Knuckles furry Xbox controllers?
I did. And I was terrified.
It's
I was terrified, Arthur.
I have really sweaty palms, so I'm not sure if I would be comfortable or uncomfortable playing with those.
Like gamers are so their hands are so dirty. You know how many dirty furry controllers that people are gonna try to sell at GameStop?
Oh, dude, like not sponsored, but hey, shout out to fucking Dorito dust getting all over my fucking controllers.
Dude, like barbecue sauce, like God knows like how many weird shit's been on controllers, and the furry ones, that's gross.
Remember like that those few years of the golden age of April Fools and games? Remember that fake ad for I think it was a PlayStation controller that like barbecue sauce and chicken wings, the chicken wing sauce wouldn't stick to your controller.
Oh,
do you remember that?
It
was the ad of like somebody eating chicken wings, and then or like I think it was chicken wings or Cheetos or like chips or something, and then their controller it wouldn't stain.
Oh, that's hilarious.
that was a really good April Fool's fake ad. I remember that because I literally messaged my friend of like, I need to fucking buy this, and he's like, dude, what day is it? I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I really need that.
Because it's funny. Like I remember, just like it's like you screwed up like as far as like not washing your hands when. You're pressing one of the buttons and then the button just doesn't rise.
Yeah, you're like,
it's like, dude, fuck.
Time to jump. And it gets stuck, and everyone has that mental oh no moment in their head when those classic PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 buttons got stuck.
The platformers, you're fucked, bro.
Dude,
you can't play the game.
X, man, dude, everyone's oh my god, it's been forever since I've had a PSA. Yeah. I'm just remembering the buttons now on a Sony. Yeah, dude, everyone's X will just eventually just wear out and just give up and die. Like what happened? What happened? It didn't come back up. I salute you.
All around it is like fucking barbecue sauce.
It's like barbecue sauce. Your thumbs have blisters. You remember that? You remember that ad? That was a real ad. Like it was like bragging rights. Remember, it was bragging rights of who had the biggest fucking blisters.
Oh wow,
playing the original vanilla, the original
because they're concave,
So, PlayStation analog sticks, those original PS1 / PS2 controllers that just like oh yeah, and then some dude with like a fucking football sized thumb, like, oh my god, he's so fucking cool. He's a blister the size of my face.
Oh my god.
I remember those ads.
Commercials were good.
Hey man, hey, Xbox is still stepping up with their commercials. We got fucking Boys the Men, my guy.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting on the next hardcore R&B commercial for their conference if they do it.
I still can't believe that was fucking real.
That was amazing. I mean, I don't know if many people appreciate it like we did. Like that was amazing.
That was awesome.
That was amazing. Like I know all like the millennial kids are like, what the fuck is this and that? We're just like, yeah, all for one.
It's like, you know how many babies are made because of those guys?
Exactly.
It's like, hey, these guys on there porn it. As a dad looks at them like, you fucking exist.
You know how many families exist because of all for one?
It's like again, like the dad looks at his son, not not knowing who these people are, like, you exist because of these motherfuckers. Like, show some damn respect. Put some respect on their name, god damn it.
Exactly. Well, I think we'll end it there here for the Gamers for Life podcast, of course, each and every Saturday, discussing all things games. I'm one of your hosts, Jarrell. With me is my co-host, Arthur Thomas.
That's me.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. Don't get slapped by Will Smith.